Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Tap In Tap Out podcast. I'm your host, the one, the only, Alex. Hi. Okay. In this podcast, if you're not sure yet, what we do here, we tap into discussions around mental wellness, spirituality, and culture, and tap out of the patterns that no longer serve us. Yes, I worked hard on that tagline. I just want y'all to know that. How y'all doing? I'm okay. I can't complain. I'm a little stressed. Maybe it's that time of the year. I don't know why. It's the start of March. I don't know why I'm tweaking, but it's super hard to try to balance different things in your life. I won't go into it, but keep me in your prayers. That's all I'm trying to say. Hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. We talked about the 4 agreements, the book. I got some feedback that, and understandably, some of the author's points were very structured and pointed and a little rigid, and I have to say I agree with you. I didn't want to give you a misrepresentation of what the book was trying to tell you, so how I explained it is how it was written, honestly. But I think it's just how you read those types of books, you can't really take it for what it is if that's not what you follow, but it's important to glean from the teachings, because that's how some people think, that one thing has to mean another thing. But for me, and I think for most of you out there, you have a more diverse way of thinking about the way the world works and the way people work. So to each his own, but hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions for me, if you have any comments about the book or about any other episode we've done, remember to message the inbox, heartofshema@gmail.com. It will be in the description, or just DM my personal page. Honestly, I think every week I will have a question poll up during the week, so you can ask your questions then as well. So make sure to follow me at Just Alex Today. Once again, I am not a licensed professional, but I can tell you what I would do in your life. So if that would be helpful for you, just let me know. This week is very special. We are having our very first guest of the podcast. Her name is Hanifah. She's a good friend of mine. We met in school. But this week she will be with me in the tap-in. So yes, we talked about this game that she had called We're Not Really Strangers. It's by this person named Koreen, Koreen, on Instagram. We didn't know who she was during the recording, but I know who she is now, so that's what's important. So we just jump in and kind of bounce around with topics with that game. So stay tuned for that. That's all I have for the top. So we will take a quick break, and then when we get back, we will be joined by Hanifah. Hello. So we are here with my lovely, beautiful friend, Hanifah. Hi, Hanifah.
Hi, Alex.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am thriving now. Please tell
After a little
people,
conversation.
tell people who you are, how I know you.
Okay. I always find these questions very hard to answer.
Yes.
But who am I? My name is Hanifah Griffith. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, 868, of course.
Yes.
Born and raised. Came to the US to study at UT. That's where I met Alex. I can't pinpoint the exact moment I met you. But yeah, we met at UT. I'm currently going to school again for sociology, applied sociology, and will be pursuing social work because I love to help people. And I think the
Yes.
best way for me to fulfill that purpose of mine is to do social work. So that is my next step.
Yes. We just had a awesome conversation about purpose on Hanifah's podcast. We covered the movie Soul. It'll be available sometime next week. So I'm very excited for
Yeah.
that. So when Hanifah came on my podcast, I was like, what are we gonna do? And she told me that she had this game that I've been dying to get. It's called So We're Not Really Strangers. I should probably know who
Mm-hmm.
made it, but we don't. But still, give me a sponsor.
Good.
Hanifah, could you just break down just like the basics of this game, like how you play it, like what's about?
Okay, so yes, the game. I don't know if people are going to see the video, but this is the packaging. It's called We're Not Really Strangers. As we said, we don't know who created it, but the whole purpose of the game is basically show people that we aren't strangers, that everybody has a story and this story can be connected, and we can find moments of resonance within the stories. So it is divided within three sections. So the first section, level one, is called perception. The second section is called connection, and the third section is called reflection. So the whole idea is like basically level up in conversation. So it has like, how do you perceive me? Now we're just gonna get into the bulk of it with the
Mm-hmm.
connection. And the end reflect on the conversation that we have. And by the end of it, it's supposed to kind of give you that sense that, oh my gosh, I've met you before. Like we can be friends. But yeah, that's just how I think of the game. Don't know if that's how she labeled it, but
Yes.
yeah.
So we're gonna take a shot at it. We're gonna do at least one question from each level. We might just do two for the last one because it's a little more toothy. So let's get into it. Can you pull the first
Yeah.
question, please, Hanifah?
Okay. Okay, so the first question is, do I seem like someone who would get a name tattooed on myself? Why or why not?
Okay, so we're both answering it for each other. I'm gonna go first. I think for you, Hanifa,
Uh-huh.
yes, I think you have a name tattooed to yourself. I'm like, she might already have one. Like I know, I and why I say that is I don't know. I mean, just like more facetiously, you give me those vibes, you know, like you wear like a little gold chain and like Hanifa, like. So for me, having a little gold chain with your name on it is like just levels, you know. It's like gold chain, tattoo. It's the same thing, just like the commitment level. So I think
Mhm.
had you like really decided in yourself, I'm getting this tattoo
Uh-huh.
today, and you do it. I see that for you.
So wait, let me clarify. You see that I would get a tattoo of my name on me?
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, do you know what's so funny about that? I don't have my name, but if people are gonna view this, I I have myself tattooed on me. I don't know if you can see,
Stop.
but that's me. You are right. I will definitely get
I am
I will
dead.
definitely get me named on me.
Yeah, just add a
Because
caption
I
to
already
your
have,
photo.
yeah, I already have me on me. So you are 100%
That is so
correct.
funny. I had no idea.
I don't think people realize that it's me until like they get close and they're like, that looks
Mm,
like you. But let's see. For you, Alex, I feel as though you won't. I
mm,
think you are a person who um you enjoy beautiful things or things in general as they are. I don't think like you would take it a step further and be like, let me get that tattooed on me. Like you enjoy
yeah.
its entity and its entity alone. So
Hmm.
I don't think you do it.
You're right. The only reason I would do it is if I was this won't happen. But let's say one day I like change my name or something, or like if I had like, oh, like I'm changing my name, like I could see that. But for something that somebody else gave me, I'm like, I'm not putting that on my body. Like, you know, like it's kind of
Yeah.
ironic. I don't know. But like your face is your face, you know, but like, I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing I have, but you're right. I'm also like very pain sensitive. So it would take a lot for me to get a tattoo of anything.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
so yeah, that was a good question.
it really was. Do you want to do another level one question?
Yes, let's do level one again.
Okay, so I'm gonna shuffle it once more. See, no, be little razzle dazzle. Okay. Wow. As a child, what do you think I wanted to be?
Hmm.
Hmm.
If you have it, you can go. But let me think.
Hmm. As a child, what do you think I wanted to be? Honestly, Alex, I would say for you, and knowing who you are, because I met you, I don't can't remember what age I met you. 17,
Yeah, I was 17.
maybe. I would think so. There's two answers I have for this: either you being a therapist or you being somebody who is like heavily involved like productions of movies. um
Wow.
just because like, or maybe like a movie critic or something, because I've
Mm,
heard we had conversations about movies before, and then Rebecca of course would like tell me conversations that you'll have. I'm
yes.
just like, wow, like you have such like an analytical brain that you take something and you're just like, ooh, this is interesting, you're able to like talk about it more. So I definitely think either a therapist or someone who's like critiques movies of some sort.
I love that. Both are not right, but I appreciate the sentiment. The heart of it, you're right. The heart of it is true. But growing up, I remember the first thing I remember wanting to be was a veterinarian. Don't know
Mhm.
why. I wasn't particularly in love with animals, so I don't know why. I think I was too scared to like help people. So I was like, I'm gonna help this dog and this cat. Like, like
Mm.
I wanted like it just felt like kind of easier, but still like fulfilling some need to like help people. However, it's funny you say the movie thing because probably a year before I went to college, I had this weekend where I really wanted to change my whole life and become a TV
Mm.
writer or like a movie writer. Because I was into videography and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to write scripts, I want to do this, do that. And long story short, it was shut down in about 3 days. So, and I was back to being a medical professional. Don't know how that happened, but we were all fine with it. So yes. For you, okay. I don't know why this is coming to me, but I feel like you would be in some profession. You would be some profession that would involve like beautifying people. So like I'm seeing like a
Mm.
hairstylist or like a makeup artist or something like that. You just want to like, I don't know, be in a salon. I don't know why I get that vibe from like young Hanifah.
But you know what's very funny about that? Even though you might be wrong, but you know what's very funny about that? When I was younger, this is a friend who recently messaged me. She said, Hanif, I don't know if you remember, but when we were in primary school together, I was in junior choir, and so was
Mm.
she. And she said, Hannah, for the best moments I have of being in choir is you coming around to all the young girls and boys and fixing our like school uniform or like fixing our hair. I'm just like, wow, I really did that. Like I was out here like being a whole stylist for the choir. Like I would fix their hair, I would fix their school uniform, like I would make sure everything's in place there because we
Yeah.
wore ties for our school
Um,
uniform. So I, like fix their tie, do all kind of things. So it's very funny that you say that because I like if I had to choose, I can do that too.
mm-hmm.
Um, but my answer that I thought I was gonna be when I was younger, I really thought I was gonna be a lawyer because I love
Mm.
to argue. Like I would argue with my dad back and forth, and he was like always a person where I had to like bring evidence whenever I talked to him.
Mm.
So it was never like just a conversation. It was like, what do you have to support this? So I felt as though like I was trained inherently to be a lawyer. So I always thought I had to be a lawyer.
I love that. Okay, let's move on to level 2.
Okay, so level 2, it is called connection. Give it a quick little shuffle, shuffle. Okay. Ooh, okay. What are you more afraid of? Failure or success, and why? Wow, we're really getting into it, huh?
Oh no. To be quite honest, I am really terrified of success. And
Mm,
it's like so complicated because it's actually like doing it right now, but I've been trying to investigate my like self-sabotage energy that I like to, emit to myself. And I feel like one way I self-sabotage myself is like not doing certain things that I know will propel me further because I'm not ready to see that happen, you know?
Mm.
Whereas like if I fail at something, like I'm kind of just confirming what I already thought was gonna happen. You not to get like cynical. Whereas success, I feel like I haven't seen it yet in certain ways, and so like there's a fear in what I don't have yet in me, you know, or what I don't see yet for myself. And so I will see myself move in ways that deter me from success, which is just not good behavior. So that's my answer. Probably success, which is definitely a call out for me today.
Wow, Alex. Talking about choirs, you're preaching to the choir. I would definitely have to say that success is my answer too, for all the same reasons that you have. The main one being that I'm like, in my head, like I'm expected to fail. I don't know why. But ever since I was younger, this is gonna sound so strange to people. But just know we're all humans, guys. This is just my
Yes.
experience. But I used to like envision myself being homeless and like what can be the worst thing that can happen. So I used to picture like me being homeless and be like, okay, Hanifah, this is like the it thing that could happen. So I've been preparing myself since I was young for that moment. And as you said, I know what failure looks like. Not having money in my bank account, not having a roof over my head, not having food to eat. Like I'm comfortable with the idea
Yes.
of failure. I have pictured it so many times that I can recite to you what failure is in my books. But success, because I don't have the privilege to see in the future, I don't know what success is going to be like. And also to like take that point a little further, I don't know. I don't even know how I define success. So
Yeah.
how could I even know what it looks like? Some people's success is money. Some people's success is emotional health. For me, I haven't pinned down exactly what success is for me and what it is what it is to be successful. So I don't even know what I'm striving for. And I think that uncertainty is definitely the thing that is making me more like, I don't want to see success. It's so uncertain. So I'll
Yeah.
definitely have to say failure is my answer.
That is
Oh,
so
success is my
success.
answer.
Yeah, that is so. I've never been asked that question that way before. You know, like we don't talk about the fear of success. You know, especially I feel like in the Black community, it's probably a little more prevalent. Um,
Mm,
not we can dwell on it for a minute, but I feel like even the pressure of like we have no choice but to succeed. You know, and like you better work 3 times as hard just to get equal to what other people can just walk up and receive. You know, like it's just like it's so hard to get, but we have to have it. So that like just pressure and it's crazy.
and to take that even a step further, like being black bodies in whatever space that we occupy, whether that space is in the States, in the Caribbean, in Europe, as you said, like the system is not designed for us to succeed. There has been obstacles placed in governments, in society in general, where we are not meant to succeed. Look at redlining, you know?
Yeah.
So we don't know what success feels like, or we don't have first person privilege as yet to what success is because we're too busy hurdling over obstacles that were placed in front of us for us not to get to that success. So yeah, I think adding that extra layer of our social identifiers too definitely adds to the fear of success I have. You know, being a woman, being from the Caribbean, having an accent, religious beliefs, all these things play into my fear of success that I really and truly never really thought about until this question.
Yeah.
Especially being an international student within the States, is not meant for us
Yeah.
to succeed, you know?
Even I mean, I just feel like I'm just feeling the spirit on this, but success,
Honestly.
even when we arrive at this so-called success, like it's hard there too, you know, like for people like us who like are minorities in spaces, like success is not like a freedom of peace or a freedom of like struggle. It's like, okay, now all eyes are on you, you know, and like I'm fearful for that too, because at least if I'm failing, like nobody's expecting anything from me, you know, like nobody's expecting me to give anything great. But if I'm successful, there's this pressure of like having to meet that daily, having to meet that, you know, in your life. And like everybody's ideas of success look so different. So even when I reach my success or my version of success, it might not be what other people think of that. Like I don't think they don't might think I
Mm.
made it, you know?
Because what they think success for you and what you think for yourself is two different things.
Yes, but we all know failure. If I say I failed, you don't have to be like, oh, you did it, or you sure? Like,
Oh, yeah.
all I need is that I failed and I'm already done, you know. But like, I can
You know
feel
what
like
it
I
is. Yeah.
succeeded.
Mhm.
Yet people can be like, oh no, you didn't. Like, you still got this to do, that to do, you know.
You still have to make this much money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we'll do another number 2.
Yeah, that was wow. That was really, she knew what she was doing when she made these cards,
She
man.
really did. I gotta find her name before we leave. Let me do that.
Honestly. Okay, wow, this is another good one. So the question is, when you're asked how often do you answer truthfully?
You can go first.
Um, well, how do I put this nicely? Not at all. I feel as though like my conditioned answer that I've been taught is just to be like, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm cool. How are you? You know, that's all I know to say when somebody asks me how I am. And I think the reason why I do that, there's several reasons, but I think the main two or three that I can think of on the spot is,
Mm-hmm.
does that person even want to hear how I really am? Or are they just trying to say this to be more courteous and to fill like that empty space? My second thing is, I don't want to air my dirty laundry out, you know, because in the Caribbean, that's what we're taught. We're taught not to air our dirty laundry out. Nobody's supposed to say our dirty laundry. And the third thing is just fear of what's going to come after I speak truthfully. Because there's been so many times my friends would be like, oh, Hanifah, how are you? And I'll be like, depressed, suicidal ideation. And if I say those things out loud, they're going to be like, well, I ain't come for all of that, but okay. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like what's gonna happen after I be truthful?
Yeah.
Are they gonna have the capacity to help me? Are they gonna even want to help me? Are they thinking to themselves, well, this is just something that I'm saying so we can get on to the conversation? And it's very funny too, because I remember there was one day that I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of not being truthful. Let's answer this properly. So I did say how I was. And it was like I caught the person off guard because they weren't expecting that. And I think
Yeah.
that's another thing. We just expect people to be like, I'm fine and move on. So when I did say how I was, it was like, you know, Mr. Crab, that meme when he was confused.
Yes, that's one of
That's
my
legit how it
favorites.
was. That's legit how it felt.
Mm,
So yeah, that's my answer. How about you?
um, Same. But before we get there, I looked her up. Her name is Corrine, guys. K O
Okay, hi
R
Queen.
E E N.
You want to sponsor us? This
Yes,
is like
all respect, all
complete
love.
commission, all love.
Love your work. Love what you're
Honestly,
doing.
hon-
Yeah, but my question, or my answer, same. I feel like I rarely say how I'm really doing,
mm,
especially now. I think in the pandemic, I'm just not. I feel like no one can take my load, you know. So I'm
mhm.
just like, I just say I'm tired usually because that just kind of means some. I just kind of I don't know. It doesn't communicate like an emotion or like a, you know, because my fear is that I have a lot of friends that are like empathetic, and so like when I say I'm feeling sad or I'm not feeling great today, that's like
Mhm.
weight on them. Whereas if I'm tired, they can't really control that. You know, they'll be like, oh, like get some rest or do this or do that, like more concrete things. Whereas like if I throw someone this emotional vague ball, it just kind of absorb it. Whereas if I give them a concrete like state of
Thank you.
being, it's like, all right, well, you're feeling this way, so I can't go in there and make you not tired. You know what I mean? Whereas like people can
Mhm.
me, I've felt like I can make people not sad. You know, I can go in and like be there. Or what do you need from me? What do you need from me? All this stuff. So I really
Mhm.
do it. It's just also just it's just work. I might be kind of lazy too, where I don't want to exert myself in that way, and that's just bad on my part because people want to care about me genuinely. Um,
Mhm.
and I've had those moments, like you said, where like I want to own my truth and give them a full version of me, and I feel like I scare them away, or like it was too much, you know. So yeah, that's my answer.
Oh wow, I felt that answer too.
All right, well, let's dive into this third level. I'm kind of worried about this level
Okay,
3.
I am quite worried. Let's see. Give this a old shuffle for that little razzle dazzle. You know what I mean? Okay. Third level reflection. Oh, okay. What would be the perfect gift for me? Ooh, that's a nice question.
Wow, I don't want to answer this one. I don't feel like gift giving is not my strong suit.
Oh, me either.
Um,
But it's like a nice lighthearted question.
yeah, it's good. um, if I were to give you the perfect gift right now, let's say like access and money was, I would
Mhm.
figure out who your favorite author was, or like a celebrity, or like somebody. I'm just gonna throw out like somebody like Lovey Ajayi.
Love. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's say your favorite author was like Lovey. I would like go out of my way to like see if I can get like a signed copy of one of her books and like give it
Mm,
to you. That might like I feel like if I was to give Hanifah a gift, I'd want to do something like that, you know?
I like that gift. If money wasn't an issue, I would say my gift to you. So I'm a type of person that looks at like needs and wants, like in current
Mm.
situations. So like I see that you started your podcast, Tap and Tap Out, which yours should be tuned into. If you're not listening, I don't know. I really don't know what you're doing, but I would like provide you with like podcast material that you need.
Yes.
So like
I
if
love
you want a
that.
new mic or like a camera or stuff like that, I will give you that because I know that is what's gonna bring you most joy because
Yes.
yeah,
I love that.
I like this question. That was a very nice
It was
question.
a good one. Let's do another one.
Okay. Okay. Next question. What am I most qualified to give advice about?
So I guess for this one, like we're answering it for ourselves. Because I don't want to tell you what you most.
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
what you
I don't
know.
exactly, exactly. I guess
um,
we just say it for ourselves
yeah,
because
this one we'll do for ourselves. If you know it, you can go. Because I don't.
um I feel as though the advice that I'm most qualified to give, whew, would be anything around deconstructing the ideas around mental health and personal development, and honestly, any and every concept that we abide by in our everyday life. Because I feel as though for me, I love to think about like mundane things and how they operate, why they operate. Um, I just love to do that, whether that's in like TV shows or just like everyday life. I just love to watch and observe and like break things down. So I think
Mm,
that's like my thing that I can help you with.
I love that for you. I'm thinking about mine. I feel like at this moment, I'm most qualified to give advice on like maybe handling conflict in friendships, because I've just
Mm,
dealt with so many different types of conflict and like a depth of conflict. Um, I've had to do a lot of work in terms of like how to receive, feedback, and how to give feedback, and like we talked about this in your podcast. Check it out, by the way. But we talked about, I mentioned interpersonal boundaries, and how like there are
mm,
things that like you need to have agreements with yourself as to how you're gonna navigate relationships that don't involve other people. And so me and my therapist have spent many, many months talking about interpersonal boundaries and what it means to make commitments to yourself that will help navigate relationships, even though you might not be telling those things to those people, And there are things that you need to be talking to them about.
mm,
Communication is really important, but especially when things get hard and conflict happens, those interpersonal boundaries really come into play, because you have to rely on them, because now when you have conversations with them, it's not going to be like, it's might be sparked by certain emotions, you know, so you might say things that you don't mean to say, or say things that sound higher than they actually are. But if you
Mm.
build these interpersonal kind of boundaries, it's kind of like a built-in like safety kit, you know. So like, okay, this is happening, like what do I do about this, you know? And like, and that'll help you be able to meet that person like with the best you can, you know. You can't control how they're going to meet you, but if you have those interpersonal check-ins, you'll know, okay, I'm gonna check in, and then I'm gonna meet this person where I'm at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So probably that. But I think about somebody asking me and me not telling them good advice, so I'm just gonna move on. I'd be like, girl, just get him. I no, gonna do that. Let's do another a level 3.
Okay. Okay. This is a wild card. I mean,
Oh,
I
well,
don't know if you want to do it.
we'll end. Oh, does it have a question on it?
Is do you want me to say the do you want to say what it is?
Yeah, we'll do it. And we have to do it now. This be our last question.
Okay, at this point, yeah. So it just says give each other nicknames. And this is where I fail because I have never given anybody a nickname before in my life.
I guess me either. Yeah.
So this is what? How do people even like sit down and think
I know.
about a nickname? We can skip this one if you want to.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll skip it. False alarm. We'll false alarm. We'll do another last question right now.
False alarm. Okay. This question: what do you think my defining characteristic is?
Oh,
Mm,
that's a lot.
that is a lot. Mm.
I have an answer for you. It just
Okay.
came to me. My answer for you would be curiosity.
Mm.
I think because I sometimes I think about, if you guys don't know, Hanifah has like an awesome Instagram page. She has a lot of conversations, a lot of different types of people, and it's really awesome to get into. And one day I was like, because I went on there also at one point, and like it's been awesome. It's an awesome platform. And I'm like, how can Hanifah have so much to like bring up and so many different kinds of people? Like, I'm just like, this is a lot. But I'm like, you know what? She's just curious about everything, you know? And like that curiosity fuels conversation, you know? And like that's kind of
Mm.
how you, because some people lead conversation with what they think they know. Whereas like you
Mm.
lead with curiosity, where it's like, okay, I'm coming in like it's knowledgeable, but like I want to know more. I want to be able to grow. Instead of this place of like, I'm an expert on this, and so let me tell you about it. You know, like you enter the space with curiosity, and I just think that informs like how you do your work, you know, overall. So that's what I would say.
Wow, that was wow, Alex. Thank you.
I was off the cuff
Wow.
too. I never thought
Yeah,
about that.
wow.
Like, yeah.
Like you caught me like I'm caught off guard. Oh my gosh. My defining characteristic for you. Mm. So there's a level of wisdom I think you have. I don't know if you see it or not. Um, and that's like wisdom within what you do in school, psychology, but also whatever you put your mind to. I feel as though and I think this is what wisdom is for me. You think of all its parts in its totality. Um, so like when you started your podcast, you it wasn't like let me just jump into this. You figured out what you wanted to do, and then you move from a place of okay, I'm moving from the secure place and I'm going to move forward. I don't know if that falls under wisdom, but I think that's who you are as a person. You don't just jump in. You think of everything of its parts, and then it's just like okay, this is the most effective part for me, and that's what I'm going to do. And then when you do it, you just like full steam ahead. And I always admire that. Like I watched how you started like Heart of Shema. I think that's what you started. And like you started with I don't want to say the end in mind, but you had a few steps in mind when you started. It wasn't just like chaotic, you know? So you think of the things that you want to achieve and then you find the best path and you go with it. I love that. I love that.
Wow, I really appreciate that. It's funny you say that because right now I'm struggling with um after because I am a person that is I'm very like I take my time with stuff, and like you said, I'll think about a lot of different things before I really jump into something. But when I do that, I kind of want that to be what it is, until like
Mhm.
so like when it comes to like making changes, because most times I do that, I'm met with things that tell me that, okay, like there needs to be some adjustments to this if you want to keep that effectiveness strong. But I'll be so
Mhm.
fixated on like what I knew I spent good time on that I'm like, no, I spent good time on this.
Mhm.
Why am I gonna make the changes? So I'm in a place literally this week where I'm like, okay, I need to make some changes with the page and the platform. But I'm like, oh, I spent so much time like planning it and so much time putting into it. But I'm really happy you said that because it makes me feel like when these changes come, I didn't put enough time in it. But I,
Mhm.
I I did the best I could in that moment, and now I'm meeting myself in a new moment, and I can adjust.
Mhm.
So give myself more flexibility. But that's a
And
great
just know
place. Yeah.
everything that you produce is gold. So
Oh,
whatever changes that you're making
wow. I'm
is
spoiled.
golden. So
I'm
yeah.
spoiled. On that note, thank you so much, Hannah, for being part of this tap in. I'm keeping you around. Don't worry. We're gonna do the tap out after a short break. Yeah, that's it. This week for the small business shout out, I was looking online and I happened to come across this small business called African Rainbow, and they have an Etsy shop and they're selling shoes. Now, guys, I'm not like a huge shoe person, but I might have to start being one because these shoes are kind of lit. They kind of infuse these like African prints, like really bright patterns, and they're so cute. They have like kid shoes, like little Velcro sneakers. They have women's shoes and men's shoes, like kind of like canvas shoes. And this is fully a visual like enticement. So please go on their Etsy. It's gonna be African Rainbow. It'll be in the description. You can press the link. But they just have a wide variety of patterns and really cute designs. And I can see this turning out several good looks. So please, if you are interested in jazzing up that closet, please hit up these people. It's Black owned, and they're doing the thing. So please support them. I really am about to go get some shoes that I don't need, but I want. Oh yes, please support them. If you would like to get a shout out on the podcast, just email heartofshema@gmail.com. Let me know it's a business inquiry or a small business shout out. And yeah, they didn't pay for this. It's fully free. So please support them. I love what they're doing. Okay, we're back. It is time for the tap out. I kept Hanifah with me by force. She had no choice. I asked Hanifah prior to this recording to tell me or think of something that she's trying to get out of, like a bad habit, bad pattern. So yes, Hanifah, what did you bring for me today?
So Alex, I need to get rid of the hold that false eyelashes have on my life. Um,
You know what's funny? We were doing this recording because we recorded your one first and then we're doing mine. I'm like, Hannifah looks so good in these false lashes. Like, she's really killing it. Like, people do false lashes, and I'm like, girl, you didn't need that. Like, you put it together. So I'm like, I'm not mad at these. But
and
you want
so
to tap out of
funny.
it?
Yeah, because like I was thinking about it and I was like, maybe I might not have eyelash hairs when I'm done. And I need to like think about that end product.
Yes.
But for right now, I love how they look. They make me feel nice. And if
Yes.
I don't have eyelashes at the end of this, it's okay. Because I will always have false lashes.
Not to get invasive, but how much of it is a part of your day? So like, obviously you're going out, you're putting on the lashes probably. let's say you woke up and this day is just to be inside all day. Are you putting on the lashes as well on these days?
Oh no, when I'm sad, ooh,
Okay.
these lashes, they don't see the light of day.
Okay. It's just when you're outside, you're like gonna see the world's gonna see you. You're putting on the
Yeah,
lashes.
when I know that I have to like meet people, I'm just like, I'm here.
I see. Well, I mean, you look fly in them, so I'm not mad.
Thank you.
Why do you, so you think you have to tap out because you're scared for your real eyelashes?
Yeah, yeah, precisely.
Would you ever do the like
The
the individual lashes? Is that
individual
different?
lashes, they are different. I think I would, but the only downfall with that is they fall off like after 6 weeks.
Yes.
And I'm just like, baby, I'm not trying to spend $100+ every 6 weeks when I
Mm.
can spend like $5 and wear them 10
Mm-hmm.
times. So just like, sometimes you just have to give away our real lashes for the beauty of the false eyelashes.
I respect that. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much, Hannah, for being on this podcast. Please let
Thank
the
you for
people
having me.
know where they can find you. What are you up to? Just let everybody know what you're doing.
Okay, so shameless plug. I also have a podcast. It's
Yes.
called Behind Closed Doors. It can be found on all audio platforms because Audible, they are linked with like 8+ platforms.
Yes.
So that's Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. I think Alex too is also Anchor.
Yes.
So you can find us there. Tap in, tap out, and Behind Closed Doors. You can also find me on Instagram. This is gonna be very funny. It's Hanifah. So that's the pronunciation of my name. So it's HAKNEEFAHG on Instagram, where I have more of these conversations with my friends, but on live. But I think I'm gonna do it like once a month. Yeah, those are the main two places that you can find me.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you later.
Yes. Bye.
And with that, we have the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you again to Hanifah for being a part of this. All love. Please send her so much love on our page, on our podcast. I'm actually featured over there next week. We did a conversation about the movie Soul, the Pixar movie. We talked about purpose, and we really broke it down. I think it was definitely an hour plus of us just going in about purpose. And so if you're interested, if you watch the movie and you want to maybe process it some more, that is a place to be. Okay. But yeah, thanks again for coming, Hanifah, being the first guest. She will definitely be back in the future, so don't worry. With that is the end. So please follow me on social media, just Alex Today on Instagram or Twitter. Check out the inbox if you want to submit your questions, concerns, thoughts, comments on the episode. It might be read on the podcast. So please submit them to heartofshema@gmail.com or just DM me. Please rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts if you have it. It helps a ton. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, all the things. So yes, thank you for supporting me, supporting this movement, this project. And I will see you next time on Tap In, Tap Out. Have a good one.